When a Good Samaritan intervenes in a chilling crime,
dragging a young woman.
He's pleading with this guy to leave her alone.
Things take a terrifying turn.
Just said, I'm gonna kill you. Tries to shoot him point blank in the head.
Got witnesses heard a pop.
Setting off a massive manhunt.
We are gonna find you.
And coming up later, another act of bravery on Valentine's Day.
When I saw him, like he was gonna grab a gun or a knife.
This guy decides to take action.
There was so much blood on the ground.
And this story has a surprising twist.
I did 13 months, but honestly, I'm grateful.
Chilling surveillance video.
Dragging a young woman.
November 20th, 2015, New Orleans, Louisiana, 4 a.m. A surveillance camera captures a woman stumbling down Mary Street. Seconds later, the scene turns to horror.
What you see is this guy dragging this woman down the block, potentially to be sexually assaulted and raped.
He's trying to force the woman into a car. But at that very moment, a man crossing through the intersection on Margaret Street just happens to see what's going on.
He stops, backs up, turns down the street where this man is dragging this woman. He gets out of his car, trying to help this woman out.
That's when things get really scary.
He's pleading with this guy to, to leave her alone, and then you're just horrified.
Suddenly, the hooded assailant pulls out a semi-automatic gun, turning it on the Good Samaritan. The commotion wakes local residents.
I heard a guy yelling outside, I don't have any more money.
This whole scenario was fraught with danger.
Then, things take a chilling turn.
The guy shot him in the stomach.
Shots have been fired, and the man who jumped in to help a complete stranger is on the ground. But the gunman isn't done with him.
I saw him try to execute him.
Now this guy tries to shoot him point blank in the head multiple times.
It's difficult to watch, but incredibly, the gun jams repeatedly.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
As witnesses frantically dial 911.
Got witnesses stating that they heard a pop. Gentleman shot one time in the stomach.
The gunman gives up and flees the scene in this SUV. The woman who he violently dragged down the street appears to be in a state of complete shock. Police respond quickly, rushing both her and the man who tried to save her to the hospital. It turns out the man who's been shot is 25-year-old aspiring doctor Peter Gold, a 4th-year medical student at Tulane University, and he's instantly hailed as a hero.
The medical student who took a bullet to save a stranger.
He could have just kept driving. He could have just called the police and hoped for the best. But he chose to try to help someone who he doesn't even know.
What's more, while the woman is treated for minor injuries and released, Peter is now battling for his life.
The shocking thing to see when you have a friend who's so healthy, just like that, he's in a terrible state. He was rushed into surgery, and we really weren't sure what was going to happen next.
When Peter's loved ones see the shocking surveillance video of his vicious attack, they are furious.
My heart was beating in my ears and in my eyes and just seeing red, and just like, oh my God. Like this, just watched my friend get murdered right in front of me.
The woman Peter tried to save is traumatized and asks for privacy as she recovers. The video of Peter risking his own life to try and save her instantly goes viral.
Vicious shooting. Shooting of a Good Samaritan.
Shot in the stomach.
And everything about this brazen attack angers the city of New Orleans, setting off a massive manhunt.
An intensive search this morning for the gunman.
It is clear that this is a dangerous individual who doesn't value the lives of others. Someone knows who he is. Someone knows where he is hiding.
On November 21st, one day after Peter is shot, detectives find the SUV his attacker fled in and learn that it was driven by 21-year-old Uric Kane, who has a history of theft and firearms charges.
He is no stranger to law enforcement.
We know who you are, and you need to know that we are going to find you.
But that same day, Kane violently attacks two other people in New Orleans.
Kane used a handgun to carjack and then abduct a 41-year-old female and 54-year-old male. And this is where he raped both of them.
During this sexual assault of this male and female couple, he tells them that his nickname is Murder, and then threatens them that if they go to the police, that he will kill them.
Police launch a tireless effort to find the man responsible.
You cannot hide. You cannot run. We are going to catch you.
3 days later, on November 23rd, 2015, they finally find Uric Kane, hiding out at his girlfriend's home.
He's arrested without further incident and has given our detectives a full confession.
The announcement comes on the heels of an emotional moment in Peter's hospital room.
The doctors had told my parents that there was not a very high chance that I was going to survive. 2 days after surgery, I woke up and my friends and my family were all sitting around my bed in the ICU.
We thought we had lost you. We thought you were dead. All of us.
Peter's loved ones are incredibly relieved he has pulled through, and they are in awe of his actions.
He's always been one to fight for what he believes in. It was an immense moment of courage.
For Peter, it all began as a routine night after a late shift at the hospital.
I was on the phone with my mom while I was driving home from work. Just a quick end of the day catch up. And I told her, hold on 1 second, something's not right.
It was a fleeting moment of chance. What if Peter had been looking the other way as he drove through that intersection? But it only takes one glance to know that he has to do something.
I saw a man dragging a girl down the middle of the road in a chokehold, and I couldn't drive away. You're the only person there.
But from the moment Peter steps out of his car, the situation is frightening.
I started yelling at him, telling him to get off this girl, leave her alone, what are you doing? He immediately dropped her, and it was turned from him attacking her to him attacking me.
That's when Kane demands money.
I didn't have any cash or anything to give him. I offered him my phone. I said, take this. And at that point, he just said, forget it. I'm going to kill you. And he shot me point blank in the stomach.
Wounded and bleeding, Peter won't learn until later that Kane was pointing the gun right at his head, repeatedly trying to fire again.
Realizing that part was pretty chilling. After he shot me, I fell to the ground. My back was actually to him. So the only thing I had in my head was to crawl over to my cell phone that had fallen on the ground to call my family.
Peter also has no idea that his mom never hung up. She heard everything.
This whole entire time she was on the phone. She heard the man robbing me. She heard the gunshot go off. It was very, very traumatizing.
While he's recovering, Peter gets a letter from the woman he was trying to protect.
She thanked me for saving her life. She thanked me for doing the right thing when nobody was looking.
And on October 31st, 2016, Uric Kane is sentenced to 54 years behind bars for Peter's shooting and for kidnapping and raping a couple the next day. In a statement, Peter says the ordeal has left him in disbelief, saying he's lucky to be alive, and there is no reason for this terror.
How could somebody act so violently? It's very easy to say, oh, that person's crazy, but we're also part of the problem. I had to get shot in the stomach to really put myself into someone else's shoes and realize that society has failed somebody like him.
Vowing to do something about it, Peter, along with the friends who kept vigil at his bedside, start a foundation called Strong City, which partners with organizations that help at-risk youth.
Our goal is working at the root of the problem, trying to give mentorship and guidance and opportunity to kids so that eventually they don't turn into 20-year-olds that want to act violently.
It's about, let's not wait until something terrible happens. It was really an awakening for Peter. It was a reset for him. He was going to use this experience to try to do something positive. What really stuck with me was that he really didn't understand the amount of pain or the anger or what must have happened in someone's life to put them in a situation where someone would do what happened to Peter, and to wrap his head around like what must have gone so terribly wrong in this young person's life that they would have done something like this that would have endangered his life and the life of the woman in the video. It felt to me like Peter shared almost this moment where there was a level of gratitude for this awakening, that now he had a responsibility and was committed to improving the city of New Orleans by investing in the future of young people. And I think it was really eye-opening to him, one, about the fragility of life, and two, about the inequities that exist.
Peter, who is now an orthopedic surgeon, still downplays what he did that night.
I don't feel like a hero, no. I think of it as being in the wrong place at the right time, but I'm happy that I was able to be there at the exact time that he was dragging her down the street. If I would have been 5 seconds later. So the way that all of this comes together is crazy. I think it was complete instinct. You know, I'm the kind of person that always tries to help out, and I think it's that natural instinct I had within me. When I saw something bad going on, my first reaction was action. You know, it's 3 a.m, you see something wrong, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to live the rest of your life having driven away and say, oh, I remember I was a witness to this horrific thing happen? Or in the moment, are you going to step up and realize that the only person that can help is you? And I'm just very lucky and very grateful to come out on the other side, you know, unscathed and in some ways stronger than I was before.
But to everyone else, there's no question that what Dr. Peter Gold did that night is definitely heroic.
And he should have been probably killed on that night. I mean, that's pretty heroic to me.
He really hasn't been angry about it the entire time. And he could have been. And for you to pull through and be the same Pete that you are, is pretty miraculous.
Coming up, another crime caught on tape with a surprising outcome.
There was a lot of blood. I was like, okay, the running's over.
It's a shocking scene. A pharmacy robbery gone wrong. And it all happens on Valentine's Day, giving new meaning to defending the one you love.
The one thing motivating a customer to take matters into his own hands.
It's just after 12:30 p.m. in Bradenton, Florida, when a man walks into a pharmacy hiding under a hoodie with a rag over his face. He doesn't seem to care that a customer is already talking to the pharmacist behind the counter.
He's standing there and starts to commit a robbery of the pharmacy.
Then, the masked robber makes a brazen move, leaping right onto the counter, demanding drugs.
This guy jumps up on the counter, starts making an furtive movement towards his waistband.
But what this robber doesn't realize is that this other customer is the pharmacist's boyfriend, who happens to be a Florida State boxing champion. And he's not about to let any danger come to his girlfriend. It turns out that this customer is 25-year-old David West, and he's at the pharmacy visiting his girlfriend, Heather Moran.
We live right down the road from her work, and it's Valentine's Day, so of course I was like, you know, I'll bring her food.
He came in and asked me what I wanted to have for lunch. And then right as I was about to answer him, that the guy came right up behind and got on the counter.
It's scary. In just a matter of seconds, a romantic visit has turned into a terrifying situation. When the robber demands drugs, neither Heather or David can believe what's unfolding right in front of them.
At first, I thought it was a joke. The guy was like, no, this isn't a joke. Give me all your effing oxycodone. He reached down into his pocket and kind of like made the shape of a gun.
And that's when David takes action.
I don't think he saw me, but right when I saw him try to reach into his pants, like he was gonna grab a gun or a knife, I knew I had to react. Stood up and I went at him.
David said something like, hey man, you don't want to do this. David didn't want to fight, he didn't want to hurt the guy, but he wanted to stop the guy from coming at me.
David lurches forcefully at the robber.
I didn't jump on him because I didn't know if he had a weapon. So I was going to try to grab him, subdue him, first and foremost.
As the two men wrestle, banging into pharmacy displays, the robber's shirt is pulled right off his back.
I had no other choice. I started throwing punches. It was pure instinct. There's no way in hell I'm going to let him get my girl.
This boyfriend, he just takes action and starts to fight with him and takes him to the ground, which is super dangerous. He really doesn't know if this guy is armed or not.
But this boxer isn't messing around. His punches are fast and furious.
It took like 4 of them, you know, and he was unconscious.
I kind of felt sorry for the guy.
As Heather dials 911, David keeps the knocked out robber pinned to the ground.
When he came back to, that's when I had to like put him in full mount, holding his hands down.
The would-be robber is dazed, and both he and the pharmacy are a mess, as if a full-fledged, hardcore boxing fight has just gone down.
There was so much blood on the ground. We later found out that he had a ruptured eardrum, broken nose, broken facial bones.
For Heather, his actions are touching, but not surprising.
David's my hero. Very, very brave. So proud of him. I didn't have any doubt that David was gonna protect me. He's fearless. David's fearless, and he has the best heart.
This boxer may pack one powerful punch, but his heart takes over when the robber comes to. What he says is unbelievable.
This guy just tried to rob a store, and this man's crying to me, like begging for me to let him go. He's like, oh crap, I might never see my daughter again. Well, I felt bad, you know, I felt extremely bad.
Still, David knows he can't just let the robber go. So before police arrive and arrest him, he offers some advice.
I told him this is gonna change his life. I said, this is your turning point. Looked right at the guy and I said, you know what? I feel like he just needs help.
Over the next 4 years, David often wonders if his unsolicited advice sank in. As it turns out, it meant more than he ever imagined.
The state of life that I'm in today is due to the time I spent in jail, and I would have died. The irrational lifestyle I was living at that time, I know I would have died.
Believe it or not, this is the same man who jumped onto the counter in that hoodie and is seen in this mugshot. Rob, who asked us to use only his first name to protect his family, was charged with attempted robbery.
I did 13 months in incarceration, but honestly, I'm grateful.
The day he walked into that pharmacy, Rob says he was in a dangerous downward spiral of addiction.
I was 26, almost 27 years old. I'd never had a speeding ticket. I'd never been in trouble. I had no criminal record. I was an air conditioning technician. I wasn't a bad guy, but I'd say about 6 months before the incident happened, my dad, who was ran over by a car, I just fell into a reckless streak, and all of a sudden, I don't know, I woke up one day and I was an addict.
And on February 14th, 2016, after his fiancée left him, taking their newborn with her, things hit rock bottom.
This was a Sunday, and Friday I had gotten fired from my job. So no money and nobody wanted me around. In a 6-month period, I went from having my bills paid, a nice house, 2 nice vehicles, and 401k. So I wake up that morning. It's Valentine's Day. It's my dad's birthday. I'm living in my car. It's all, a chain reaction.
When he walked into the pharmacy, Rob says he didn't really have a plan, and he didn't actually have a weapon. He was just faking it in a desperate attempt to get some drugs he could use and sell.
I owed my drug dealer $1,500. I figured if I went and did that, I could have enough to go give him what I owed him and go crawl in a hole somewhere.
The fight with David left Rob with a 6-inch scar on his forehead and a ruptured eardrum. But he says even if he was out of it, he was never actually knocked unconscious.
He did beat me up, but I didn't get knocked out. All right, I had enough pain medicine and enough opiates in me that you couldn't knock me out.
Now, Rob is married to the same woman who left him right before the pharmacy incident, and they have 2 young children. He also owns his own business. His message to David?
Sorry I tried to rob your girlfriend on Valentine's Day. I mean, thanks for splitting my head open and rupturing my eardrum, but honestly, I'm grateful. I mean, I really am. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
I'm happy, He's doing good, and I'm really glad. And I would say I told you so, because the last time I saw him, he was begging for me to let him go and that it was going to be the end of his life. And I was telling him, no, it's not. It's going to be a turning point in your life.
Rob credits David, a rigorous prison reform program, and his faith for making that turning point a reality.
It's been a hard road. Replaying that day, there's so many things that I have today that I couldn't imagine back then that I'm just blessed with by God.
And for very different reasons, Valentine's Day 2016 is one the women in both Rob and David's lives will never forget.
It was embarrassing for her. It was rough for her. I mean, she stood by me, and it was hard for her. Anything I do from here on out on any Valentine's Day, it doesn't matter. Always going to be a better Valentine's Day.
I'm the luckiest woman in the world. I even told David, I said, you don't have to ever get me anything for Valentine's Day ever again. He pretty much earned the get out of Valentine's Day free card.